Henry Clay, a 19th century Kentucky statesman, represented the Commonwealth in both the Senate and the House of Representatives. He first arrived in Lexington in 1797 and soon began to buy land. His federal-style house began construction in 1805 and over the years went through various stages of rebuilding and remodeling. The original footprint, however, has largely been kept intact and is a National Historic Landmark. People visit from all over America to learn more about the dominant political figure that Abraham Lincoln once said was his beau ideal of a statesman. Today we're at Ashland Henry Clay Estate. We get to take a guided tour of this 18-room mansion and the perfectly maintained grounds that consist of 17 acres. I'm glad I brought my walking shoes. Let's go check it out. Henry Clay has made significant contributions in American history. He's been called the Great Compromiser for his superior negotiation skills in political arenas, but he was also a very skilled agrarian and stockman. He developed his estate Ashland into a national model of progressive farming. Most people know of Henry Clay as a prominent political power, but he was so much more. I'm here with Eric Brooks, the curator here at Ashland, and also Kate Tile, who is the director of tour operations at Ashland. Thanks so much for talking with me today. I understand we are in a room that has kind of some special pieces in it, like this jacket, for instance.
Absolutely, yes. Our exhibit room houses both a permanent exhibit and space for temporary exhibits. And right now we have on exhibit one of the most important artifacts in the entire collection, one of the most unique artifacts that we own, one of the most unique artifacts that you would probably find anywhere. This jacket Henry Clay had made when he was sent to Ghent, Belgium, to negotiate the Treaty of Ghent, which would end the War of 1812. At that time, negotiators, diplomats, had uniforms of this sort made that were based on naval uniforms. Henry Clay had this one put together, and it is from this uniform and the others that his colleagues wore that regulations were drafted that went into use by the United States Department of State and were in use all the way through the end of the 19th century. So this is the only surviving coat from the event as far as is known. This coat is now 200 years old, and it is amazing that it survived at all. And I think it's in pretty remarkable shape.
It really
considering all of the years that this coat has been around and all the things that it has been through.
Well, tell me some things that maybe people don't know about Henry Clay. I mean, people have grown up here, they've heard stories. What about some of the things that are unusual or unknown?
Well, there's a lot of interesting things about Henry Clay. He was really quite an amazing man, quite an important part of our nation's history. First of all, I think most people don't realize that he is the person who inspired Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln referred to him as my beau ideal of a statesman for whom I have fought all my humble life. He quoted Clay often, adopted Clay's politics as his own, followed Clay's ideology, campaigned for Clay, voted for Clay, saw Clay as the political figure that other political figures should aspire to be. So Clay, in a way, kind of creates this man who will lead us through the Civil War. People, I don't think, realize how important Clay is as a legislator in our nation's history. Probably, he is the greatest legislator this nation has ever had.
That's wonderful. Well, and I don't think people also realize that he was a farmer and that he was doing very progressive things.
He was, yes. He maintained a farm as fine as any that could be found in the country. He said of it, I acquired that farm not by hereditary descent, but by my own hard work. He built it himself, and that was very, very important to Henry Clay. But it was a farm in which he practiced scientific agriculture. He was constantly looking for new techniques, new equipment. He was engaging in all sorts of breeding experiments. He loved the whole concept of breeding livestock to create better stock, and did it constantly. We're very fortunate here at Ashland to have his stock book in which he recorded all of this stuff. So we know what he was doing here.
So I'm excited to see the outside grounds, but I'm also excited to see the inside of this lovely mansion. And Kate, I understand you could help me with that.
Yes, we're so glad that you all are here today, and the house itself is such a treasure that really all of the rooms are special in one way or the other, but things that I would say let's look out for when we go through. I love the drawing room because that's the most formal room of the house. That's where all the visitors would have come when they came to see Henry and Lucretia and further generations. So it's the fanciest that we'll see. But I also love the study because it's so cozy, and that's where Henry Clay did the business of Ashland when he was here. So many of the things you see in there belonged to him, and that's very special. And then the last room that I love, and they're all great, but the last room that I love is the Henry Clay bedroom because we talk about a lot of different aspects of Henry Clay in that room. not only that he was such a great statesman, but that he was not a perfect man either. And I like to get the well-roundedness of it when we talk about some of his criticisms and things like that. But there's all sorts of fun artifacts. So those are some of the highlights let's look for.
Great. Well, I'm ready for a tour. Can we go?
Let's go.
Thank you. The mansion is the centerpiece of the Henry Clay Estate, and today it's open to the public as a historic house museum. The octagonal formal entrance hall for the home features ash woodwork, Pompeian red walls, and the gilt cornice and medallion. Just to the left of the entrance is the Henry Clay study. It features artifacts in the room to illustrate Clay's success as both a lawyer and farmer. Next is the drawing room, the most formal room. It displays a painting of George and Martha Washington and an Italian marble mantel. The dining room showcases an American Empire style, whereas the library features an octagonal vaulted ceiling. Up the staircase, you'll find the second floor, which houses bedrooms and a dressing room. The Henry Clay bedroom incorporates many objects that belong to Clay, even his bed, which was made by Lexington craftsman William Bell. Next, we see the beautiful grounds at the Ashland Estate and grab a quick Kentucky Proud lunch. It's all coming up next. Today, we're at Ashland, the Henry Clay Estate, learning more about John Quincy Adams, Secretary of State, and the property Henry Clay loved. We got a tour of the mansion itself, and now it's time to journey over the expansive grounds of this 17-acre property. Most of the beautiful landscape of Ashland is similar to the days when Clay resided here. As a matter of fact, many of the great speeches he delivered in Congress were composed along these very same peaceful walking trails. I'm here with Christina Bell, and she's the Director of Development here at Ashland Henry Clay Estate, and we are sitting in a beautiful garden. Tell me a little bit about it.
Thank you for being here, first of all. We're so happy to have you. And this garden is a lovely part of the estate. It's open all year round, so you can see it in every season. And it was started in 1950 by the Garden Club of Lexington. And those ladies come every week and tend to the garden still. And it's an award-winning, beautiful place that has over 120 species of trees, flowers, and plants in this garden.
Wow, it's beautiful. The grounds itself are just so well maintained. Tell me a little bit about just the grounds and the trees and some of the things here.
We have 17 acres here on the estate. The original farm used to be 600 acres. Today it's 17 acres with over 400 trees. And so if you have one tree in your yard, you know how that's a lot to care for.
It is.
So we do a lot of creative things here. We have an Adopt a Tree program. We have Community Care Day. We have volunteers that come on the property and remove weeds from around the trees. So we have an army of people that help us with these grounds.
You do a lot of events, a lot of ways that you engage with the community and get different people here.
We're always trying to bring new audiences, new people to love Ashland as much as many people already do. And so we do have events all year long. We invite everybody to go to our website because there's so many that you'll want to just go there and see them. So henryclay.org. But we have croquet, we have jazz on the lawn, we have the Living History event that'll be in September. We have the lighting on the lawn, which is when we light our Christmas tree. We have a peony sale. We have the Adopt a Tree program. So we have lots going on all the time and lots of different types of things for all sorts of people and interests.
Well, and one thing that I hear about a lot when I talk about Ashland is people have such fond memories growing up, especially those that might have gone to school around here and had a school field trip or just would wander here, or there's always some wedding party or something momentous that might have happened here. Do you get that a lot?
A lot, all the time, and I love hearing it because everybody has a different story, everybody has a happy memory. Their children were christened, they did their engagement photos, they came to an event, they went through the house when they were a child, so it's an interesting tapestry of all the stories and the ways people love Ashland.
Well, I'm excited to kind of tour the grounds. I can even hear the sounds of of the grounds being maintained, which is wonderful because you really do keep this so meticulously kept, and I'm excited to explore it.
Well, thank you. We're glad to have you here, and we welcome all people to help us come here and help us with Ashland. We don't have any city, state, or federal funding here, so it is a community effort, and we invite everybody to join us, and we're glad you're here.
Well, good. I'm going to get my walking shoes on.
Lots of pretty paths, and parts of it where Henry Clay walked himself. So historic,
That's what I read, yeah.
peaceful, contemplative. It's a wonderful place.
The ginkgo tree is one of the oldest living species and has largely remained unchanged. It's native to China and Japan and was first introduced to the United States in the early 19th century. Ashland's two monumental ginkgos on the front drive date to about 1865. This species of tree is so iconic here at Ashland that the on-site Kentucky Proud Eatery run by Selma's Catering is named after it. The Ginkgo Tree Cafe, situated in an idyllic outdoor location, serves sandwiches, salads, and desserts, many with clever names. I'm here with Lindsay Heffler. She's the manager at the Ginkgo Tree Cafe, and what a cute cafe this is. I love all these little women that are out here with their ladies' lunches, and I see some gentlemen out here too, and what a perfect spot to have lunch.
It is. It's beautiful out here.
Really is.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys have a lot of interesting food items. I love the names, first of all.
Yeah.
You've got like the Mrs. Clay and the Hanover.
We tried to stick with the Ashland theme.
Yeah, they're really cute. How did you come up with the dishes?
Actually, Selma did. We've been here a couple years, so Selma kind of came up with everything. We wanted to stick with the Henry Clay type of theme, the Ashland name, so she just kind of named them like that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, do you have a favorite?
I do. It's the garden, actually, that I made for you.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, tell me about these things.
It is pesto mozzarella, farmer's market tomatoes, country ham. It's really, really popular.
Oh, good. Well, that looks awesome. And it looks like it comes with potato
salad. You can get potato salad, fresh fruit, or chips. Potato salad's very popular, though. It's very good.
You've got the chicken salad. I know that's like a classic staple for lunch.
It is very popular out here. The chicken salad, we have it on a croissant or just on a bed of tomato and lettuce. People can get it either way. That's with fruit, so people like it.
I like the yellow tomatoes too.
Yes, we try to get a bunch of different colored tomatoes.
Yeah, that's great. And of course the brownie, you can't go wrong with
We
that.
have a ton of desserts. Brownies, cookies, we usually do a pie or a cake. We try to keep out here, so a lot of different homemade desserts.
Now, is this soup pretty special? Is this like a...
That's our homemade gazpacho.
Nice.
Very, very popular. Made with tomatoes, cucumbers, all local ingredients. It's a pureed cold soup. It's very good.
Oh, good. Do you infuse a lot of local things when you can?
We do. We get everything we can from the farmer's market. A lot of Kentucky Proud products we try to use, so we try to keep it very local.
Yeah, that's right. I read online it's a Kentucky Proud Cafe, so that's
Yes.
great. You're going local.
We try, yes.
Well, I'm excited to sit outside and take in all the surroundings.
Yes, it's pretty out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
No matter where you set your gaze at Ashland, there's something interesting to discover. From the stunning mansion to the beautifully maintained grounds, you're sure to find something to inspire you. There is so much to see here, but you can pace yourself with a well-timed lunch at the delicious Ginkgo Tree Cafe or a bit of shopping therapy at the Ashland Museum store. The shop sells all kinds of unique items like brightly patterned tea towels, historic literature, and a slew of Henry Clay collectibles. Ashland was a beloved spot for Henry Clay. He called it his promised land. What started out as a sanctuary of peace and joy for Clay 200 years ago continues to provide inspiration and education for visitors today. Come and see for yourself. Coming up on The Local Traveler, lots of adventure. We take a look at the scenic landscape of the Red River Gorge from the sides of cliffs and over top of trees. We learn more about a world-class rock climbing destination, as well as the area's #1 attraction, ziplining. So don't miss this episode. It's a tiny bit terrifying, but tons of fun. It's all coming up on The Local Traveler. To learn more about the show, please visit us online at localtraveler.com. Make sure and connect with us on Facebook to suggest a place where we should head next. Go to www.facebook.com/local traveler.